Hello, hello, beautiful people. Angie Grimes, your quantum architect. Today we're here talking about gate 44, the gate of alertness for the inner alchemize your energy transit. Uh we are going to go over the challenge of this particular um, gate, and I want to talk about the entire spectrum of frequencies that concern a little understood subject that actually underpins the structure of human societies, as well as the science of incarnation. And this is the existence and nature of human fractals. Now, you're probably familiar with the term fractals. I actually use it pretty frequently, but it refers to a phenomenon found in natural systems where patterns are found to endlessly repeat themselves holographically. Now, the more you magnify a fractal image, the more self-similar patterns you will find hiding within it. Now, the term human fractal may be new to you. It's an extension of human relationships, and it's referring to the web of invisible patterns that bind certain groups of people together. So, when I'm using the language of human fractals, really what I'm saying is that every person that you meet in your life is a part of the overall fractal pattern of your destiny. Now, you're always going to draw towards you those relationship geometries that teach you exactly what you need to know in order to evolve your current awareness. It's really those people in your life, those closest to you, that hold the secret to your destiny and your higher life purpose. As you learn from each relationship in your life, and then over time, you actually come to master the lessons that each affords you, then the frequency heightens in pitch and you begin to attract higher frequency fractals. So essentially, what that means is that you're bringing new people into your life, most of whom are operating out of a far more transcendent awareness. Now, this is a sure sign that you're attracting a higher frequency fractal into your life, is when you have people that are coming into your life with devotion. Your relationships begin to carry this quality within them. And here's the rub of it all. If you don't learn the lesson of a certain relationship, even if you choose to leave that relationship, that pattern will come back to you in your life, just expressed through another person. This particular challenge concerns how, why, and when people meet each other, as well as the results that emerge from group or family dynamics. Human fractals seem to operate at different levels in relationships, families, local communities, and even whole tribal gene pools. If you were to view separate human beings like cells within a greater organism, such as the cells in our body, we could say that certain cells bind together at different places within the body at different times for different purposes. So there's this kind of master program that choreographs the movement and migration of human beings. Even though it appears that we as individuals are making free choices, it's really the master program operating through us. Now, this challenge actually works a little bit like a virus within the operating system of this master program. And it's throwing the collective choreography out of synchronization. You can end up with a dysfunctional family, maybe a dysfunctional business, and that creates more imbalance than balance. We are seeing governments with inappropriate leadership, teams and relationships that are challenged and do not create ease. And what happens in this space is that the overall result is really global chaos. There's one vital thing to understand. This particular master program cannot be incorrect. If it appears to be doing something chaotic, it is in order to, for example, diagnose the problem, locate that virus, and reboot the entire system. And this is exactly what is beginning to occur on a planetary level. We're beginning to assess and eliminate interference patterns, beginning with the smallest components, individuals. The current state of our planet cannot be fixed from the top down. If a program is misfiring in such a huge and complex manner, you have to fix it at the grassroots level, which means you have to reset the basic components, which are the individuals. And then when that happens, it's followed next by the relationships. The moment that we begin to see relationships appearing in the world without interference patterns, we know that the core of the human fractal is rebuilding itself from the bottom up. Every clean, I'm going to use the word clean in air quotes, but every clean human fractal begins as a binary. It literally is a relationship. Interference patterns that are transferred through your DNA must be resolved in order for a fractal to be quote unquote cleaned. Couples or partners who are actively involved in clearing out this collective genetic dysfunction are the pioneers of a coming new age. Right now, the majority of the planet is kind of living in dysfunction as the norm. And until you have two individuals in a relationship that are ready to take on the ancestral interference pattern of their entire fractal, that fractal will in fact remain dysfunctional. Now, there's a couple of ways that this challenge can actually express itself. And one of the ways is based in distrust. Now, these would be the people who have like a single disastrous relationship, and then they decide to shut themselves down completely out of fear of the same thing happening again. Now, they may not show this on the surface, but this particular fear causes them to unconsciously distrust all relationships. And these people find themselves working and living together with others, but at a really subtle level, they keep everyone at arm's length. And they are truly haunted by their own past. So they have to rigidly defend themselves from ever experiencing love or pain again. Now, on the flip side of this challenge would be the master of misjudgment. These are the individuals that keep making the same mistakes in their relationship. This particular gift has a sharp instinct for people, meaning the gift of this particular gate. But if the basic frequency of your vehicle is operating below optimum, your instinct misfires. And as such, individuals with this reactive nature ally themselves to those who really don't respect them. And then in turn, these people turn against them, whether it be in business, and they become a drain on resources and often just plain incompetent. I'll give you a classic example of this, and it's someone who keeps breaking ties with certain people only to rediscover a similar pattern with the next person. What is happening here is that their instinct cannot operate outside its own fractal. So they make alliances that are creating continued difficulties in their life. Now let's talk about the gift of this particular gate. Frequency rises, the gift of teamwork is born. Now, this is actually a fascinating gift because at a very deep level, it concerns the human sense of smell. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but there has been a ton of research that's gone into how incredibly sensitive our olfactory abilities in certain mammals are. But as people, we're typically unaware of how this sense operates at a higher frequency within humans. These are individuals whose genius is to read other people. They can literally like walk up and size you up with a handshake. It actually requires close personal contact in order for the higher aspects of the olfactory nature to work effectively. You have to be able to smell someone in order to read their true nature. So, people with this particular gift use their sense of smell at a wider level than simply smelling through the nose. Uh, this is kind of being referred to as people who smell with their entire immune system and through every pore within their skin. They can pick up undetectable odors, such as pheromones and even subtler hormonal signals from the people that they meet. At a deeper level, this gift is about someone being in alignment with his or her own fractal. And once you have a high enough frequency, you can overcome the collective interference of this challenge and begin to pick up the scent of your true allies in life. So, what happens is not only will you recognize the right people for you, but you'll also begin to move differently through the world as your higher instinct begins to function accurately. So, to really understand this gift of teamwork, you also have to understand something of the mechanics of incarnation. As I said, this gift can smell its own higher incarnation and life purpose in those around it, which is why it knows so much about group dynamics. When you view incarnation from the view of the causal body, which is what many traditions refer to as the soul, you can see how this very subtle aspect of your consciousness returns again and again. And it gradually becomes more and more lucid and luminous. Your causal body, which vibrates at a very rarefied frequency, also travels with the causal body of others across space and time in a kind of cosmic relationship dance. However, when seen from a higher dimension, there's only one single consciousness that underlies all creation, and it cannot be divided. So what's happening is when you have those causal bodies that are traveling together across the eons, these would be your close friends, your family, your husbands, wives, lovers, really even your enemies. You're all really aspects of a single body that keeps dividing in order to play out a wonderful evolutionary story. When you can see it from this higher dimension, the notion of an individual soul that survives death and travels onwards is really a simplification of how consciousness uses fractal lines to incarnate. Only consciousness itself survives death, but the ancestral memory is stored in the blood and transferred through DNA down the fractal bloodlines. When certain people have the ability to recall their past lives, they're really reading their fractal lineage and identifying with a single archetypal aspect of that fractal. Now, the gift of teamwork is about recognizing who belongs in your life. When you meet someone for the first time and they seem incredibly familiar to you, it's really because their vehicle belongs on your fractal line. Within the greater body, your cells have business together. And taking this further, if you are able to assemble your own true fractal around you, then the dynamics of this team would be nothing short of spectacular. There would be this total trust within the group, or at the very least, like a total love. The world has not yet seen much of the archetype of this gift. But we still have to work on the destructive interference patterns of the totality. That is all on the cusp of changing. So, again, I think that I would ask you, who belongs in your life? Really look at it from those higher aspects. This is a little bit about discernment as well, recognizing who belongs in your life. I hope you have the most amazing week. Bye.